Call to order for our March 9th, 2023 Sports Authority Board meeting. First off, do we have a quorum?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have 4 president.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. First order of business is approval of minutes from our last meeting of January 26, 2023. Do I have a motion for approval? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Minutes from the last meeting. We have a motion. Everybody in favor? Vote yes.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody opposed? Okay. Minutes from the last meeting are approved. Okay. Next order of business, is there any public comment? Anybody want to make any statements at this meeting?
You'll have to tell me if this is on. I'm not the best with technology. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it. So my name is Helen Burns Shard. I'm the founder of Accountability for Taxpayer Money. ATM is a public interest advocacy group that focuses on tax incentives and government transparency. The new baseball stadium is a complicated project with lots of moving parts. I wanted to mention one aspect that may not be on your radar screen yet, with the hope that it won't fall through the cracks. An annual stormwater fee will likely be assessed against the stadium property. This is sometimes called a water quality fee. It is based on the amount of impervious surface on the site. The fee helps pay for the city's program to deal with trash and pollutants before they discharge into the local storm drain system before going into streams and rivers. The Sports Authority is a public entity and as such is exempt from city and county property tax. However, the stormwater fee is an impact fee and not a tax. So being tax exempt may not exempt you from the stormwater fee since you are the property owner. However, it is possible and appropriate to address the stormwater fee in the lease agreement you will enter into with Hardball Capital, the owners of the lookouts. The agreement can include a provision saying that Hardball Capital will pay this fee annually as an operating expense. When this project was making its way through the city process last summer, I raised this question to the Industrial Development Board and to the City Council. The council asked city staff to respond. This is what they wrote on August 8, 2022. So my question was, who will pay the annual stormwater fee required for any development, public or private? Will the lookouts owner be asked to pay this fee? The city responded, it is not expected that any stormwater fees will be waived in connection with the development of the stadium or any related development. The stadium will be owned by a public entity, being the Sports Authority, and not a private party. And to the extent stormwater fees are applicable to public entities, the Sports Authority would be responsible for such fees as the owner of the project. If any fees are payable, the Sports Authority will require the lookouts as the tenant to pay such fees as an operating expense under the lease, which is expected to be negotiated. So I think Maria gave you a copy of this and she printed that there's some other questions I thought you might find interesting in terms of the city response to other sort of questions. But I know this has a lot of moving parts and I just didn't want this to get lost in the shuffle. I just thought I would raise it today. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I appreciate your service and the time you're spending on this.
Thank you, Ms. Sharp. We appreciate you bringing that to our attention.
Thank you.
Let us know. Thank you. Phil,
Well, and Jermaine, we're in the process at this point in time of negotiating a lease agreement and an agreement with the sports entity here, Hardball Capital or the lookouts owner, whoever that will be at that point when it goes in. And that would be something that would be included in the lease agreement. So don't think that's a problem for us to include.
Yes, and I believe, Mr. Attorney, that it is legally required for the stormwater fees to be paid.
Correct.
So, yes, the stormwater fees will be paid.
Yes.
Our next order of business will be a resolution, Maria, could you read that thing?
Sure. A resolution authorizing the city of Chattanooga to enter into its blanket contracts to provide due diligence services relating to administration and project support services based on Section 3 of the Interlocal Cooperative Agreement dated September 27th, 2022, to be reimbursed by the Sports Authority after the issuance and realization of proceeds from the stadium bonds to locate the stadium site, SA 14.
Thank you. Is there any?
I will try to put my best Bill Payne impression on right now. But we are still in the due diligence phase, so we're still doing some of the geotechnical work and survey work that's required as part of the due diligence phase for the site. After we sort of get through this phase, then I think what we imagine happening is that we can move into potentially the phase for trying to get architectural designs for where exactly the stadium would be located on the site. And so that, of course, will be determined a lot by, as we go through the due diligence phase, so that we can make sure that we identify a specific location within the site that would be best and most ideal for the structure of the stadium. So we anticipate that we'll move sort of into an architectural phase after the completion of the due diligence phase. And then as a side note, we continue to be in discussions with the team about the lease. And so those discussions are ongoing. And I anticipate that those discussions will continue for several more weeks. This is not a slow process, or I'm sorry, this is not a super fast process, but it does require lots of time and attention and focus to different moving parts that are related to this project. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Okay, far as the community benefits agreement, do you have any information on that?
Yes, so I believe that the team met with representatives from the coalition that is representing the community in the discussion of the community benefits agreement. In addition, I believe that those at their last meeting, which was I think roughly 2.5 weeks ago, The property owners were also present during that meeting. And so the property owners and the team will continue to work with the coalition to identify the areas where each one can be responsive to different requests that come from the community. So, for example, there may be certain requests that come from the community that are not applicable to the property owners, and then there may be certain requests that come from the community that are not applicable to the baseball team. And so, to the extent that all of the parties involved are sort of meeting and trying to get an understanding of, okay, what is it out of the asks that have come from the community? Here's what maybe where we can meet the community halfway. Here's where we can meet the community halfway. Here's where we can meet the community halfway, because we have, obviously there are different parties involved here. So that you've got the team as one party, you have the property owners as another party, you have the master development group as a different party, and then of course you have the city, county, and the sports authority. So and so I just anticipate that those conversations will also be ongoing, and they will also have an impact on the lease that gets eventually negotiated.
Okay. I think that's it. Thank you for
Okay.
that information. Do we have any other questions? Any other discussion? Since none being, I make a motion that this meeting is adjourned. Meeting is adjourned.